This coming, Matt Barnes, new media over there beefing with old media and Paul Finebaum. Yeah, I've had my issues over the years with Paul Finebaum, but we will table those to talk objectively about this. So Deion Sanders found himself in the news just because Deion Sanders looked at a Denver Post reporter and said, "Enough is enough. I got to ban you, big dog," and had the support of the University of Colorado, a public institution. Nonetheless, came out and supported Deion Sanders for what were some personal and persistent attacks on him and the program. That's what I read. Okay, so now let's talk through this. So first, I got light of this. I caught wind of this because Matt Barnes was Hot 100 and decided to post this. Okay, so Matt Barnes posts that, and you can see Paul Finebaum sitting there with the satellites, and he's just looking. And then if you want to read the caption, it was basically, look, Paul Finebaum, you work at ESPN, you got the biggest platform, you do a good job of bringing analysis to the college football game, but damn it, what are you talking about? Now, what is he talking about? He's obviously upset that Deion Sanders has not given access to this reporter. This is a strike against journalism and freedom of speech. We all know what it is. Well, from there, I want you guys to see this, how this hits media, traditional media, old media, and how the chorus, as Kwame Brown would say, the Get Along gang loves to get along. So watch Around the Horn take this topic and let's just say not give proper perspective. No balance to this. Let's go.
It's one thing for Sanders to refuse to take questions on his own. How do you view the university singling out a journalist to censor him?
Courtney, the school I attended as a freshman that gave me such a springboard to this marvelous career I've carved out really disappointed me here. It's one thing for Deion to have a battle with a columnist. Coaches get into it with reporters and columnists all the time. When the whole university, when the whole athletic department says he can't talk to anybody here with our football program, what they've done is taken a local story and made it national and made the school look completely foolish and as childish as Deion tends to be at times.
And doing it before they've even played a down of football this year. That's some self-inflicted wounds if I've ever seen it. David Dennis Jr., how do you see the media ban that CU Athletics is putting out on the Denver Post columnist?
Yeah, this is inexcusable and another example of dictatorial policy from Deion Sanders when it comes to journalists. You got to remember, at Jackson State, he banned a reporter for reporting on a domestic violence issue with one of the players. And now you have a situation where the school is backing him and banning somebody for writing columns about Deion Sanders as a coach. Colorado has a journalism department. It's been there for 100 years. How do you look at those students and explain to them that you're teaching journalism when you have when the same institution is banning reporters for doing their job?
Frank Iasola, to you.
Yeah, Tim was part of that first graduating class. I think what it tells you is Deion's going to have a really difficult time repeating as Sportsman of the Year. That's for sure. It's so weak on the school. It's weak on him. Here's the guy that filmed, talking to those leftover players, humiliating them publicly. Yet when the columnist comes after him, his reaction is to try to censor them and cut them off. I love Deion as a player, both in football and baseball, but as a coach, he needs to grow up a little bit.
And Lindsay Theory, to you.
Frank took my joke, but that withstanding, TJ Simers, the late great TJ Simers, I'm really happy for Deion Sanders that they did not encounter each other. But that statement that was put out by Boulder, look, they called him Coach Prime in a statement. His name is not Coach Prime. It is Deion Sanders, Coach Sanders, Deion Sanders. Like, let's just start there because they right there are illustrating the entire issue is that the world revolves around Coach Prime. But again, that's not professional on their part. It is Deion Sanders, and he is the head coach of the university, of the football team, and he should be open to the same criticism as everybody else.
Okay, so now we saw that. Sound like one big happy chorus carol, right? Everybody singing the same song, right? Not mad at them, man. They got a job to do and they doing they damn thistle. Okay, so now we get to Get Up. Mike Greenberg, salute, who I respect fully. Tremendous in terms of what he does, and he's a good dude. Dan Orlovsky's getting up there, and he's going to come on the heels of what Paul Finebaum said. And you're going to hear what Dan Orlovsky had to say about that. So let's roll that clip.
Yeah, I mean, for Paul, respectfully, to call him a bully and a hypocrite is ridiculous in my opinion. One, I don't necessarily mind that Deion's trying to control a little bit of the narrative. He's obviously been somebody that's been in the focal point for basically the majority of his life. And we don't know exactly everything that's being said. Maybe some of it is public, and we don't know if anything is done behind the scenes. But I don't mind the fact that he's trying to control a little bit of the narrative, both him and the institution. We can sit here and say, because of the seat that you have, you just have to sit there and take it. But we also do live in a time where at some point, some of these people are allowed to stand up for themselves and not just constantly get dragged. And I don't think he's being a bully. He's just saying, hey, if this is going to be mainly what you do or only what you do in relation to me or the program, then we're not going to have any type of interaction, and you're not going to be allowed, because not everybody should get a seat when it comes to having the opportunity to cover a program and or their head coach. Deion's not going to be able to run from all of it. I think he's aware of that. At some point, the criticism is a background noise to success. You're not going to be able to run from all of it, but to say he's being a bully and hypocritical, that's extreme when it comes to this situation.
Now we're here. All right, let's get into it. This conversation is really a clash of the titans, old media and new media. It's dressed up differently, but it's always the same thing. Well, they say there are only 7 stories in world history. And I don't know those 7, but I do know tragedy, somebody messing with somebody. It's always the same stuff, just dressed up differently. King Solomon said nothing new under the sun. This evolution, this new media, as Matt Barnes and others want to call it, really has attributes, really has descriptors that are different than old media. And I've been blessed enough to be a part of both eras of media. Old media, traditional NFL network, ESPN, Fox, new media, create my own network, Echo, YouTube, digital, being out there, owning your own content, IP, etc. So seeing it from both sides gives me this vantage point to just say that this is nothing new. Deion Sanders basically did and said what all coaches that have power do, but just don't say. Most coaches, when they see somebody they don't like, first step is, I'm not calling on you. But that doesn't control the room, because that guy sometimes will speak out of turn. Sometimes that person will kind of nudge their boy, hey, Jonathan, say this for me, right? Somehow, some way, if you let something get in the room that you don't want in the room, sooner or later, it's going to be a part of that room. It's going to try and consume that room. One bad apple spoils the bunch, as they would say. So Deion Sanders not liking the line of questioning over the years, whatever it may be. The receipts on that are a little sketchy. It's kind of hard to aggregate. But for the point of Deion Sanders is saying, hey, man, you got a problem with me. Let's just get the problem out the way so we can talk about the program. Get the problem out the way, we talk about the program. We talk about the personnel. We talk about the people. But you keep talking about me, the person. What is that about? So I can hear everybody all getting upset. I knew that old media journalists would get upset. And the reason the journalists are pissed are simple. The main reason is we can't do our job without access. And then most people will push back, if you're smart enough, to say, well, it sounds like you weren't doing your job with the access, right? Because with your job comes professionalism. With your job comes objectivity. With your job doesn't come personal attacks. No, we're not asking you to write fluff pieces, but we're also not asking you to write hit pieces when you're trying to be the beat reporter of a program. And that's where it goes, because the subjectivity of it all makes it hard to know where the first down is, right? Are you doing the right things, and do you really move this ball up the field? Even if you're criticizing Deion Sanders, which, hey, Deion Sanders is not above reproach. Criticize Deion as like everybody else. However, are you criticizing Deion unfairly, unjustly, to the point where it's colored our lens of seeing Deion in this program, where it's given us a narrative that is not even substantiated, right? It's just, you don't like this. You don't like him. So everything you write, even good things, comes out in that negative light. Is that professionalism? Is that doing your job? Should you have access to those people if that's how everything's going to turn out? Think about it. I'm giving you access to see all of me, but all you care about is one part of me. And you going to highlight it, lowlight it to the fullest. Oh, hell no, not my program, not my house. It's as simple as you come over my house. Hey, bro, take your shoes off. Oh, we got a conversation? Okay. Well, you got a different destination if we're going to have a conversation about my rules in my house. People don't understand this, and I know that Colorado is a public institution. However, they still can grant access and deny access. Don't believe me? Try to go to the damn weight room. Try to go to the athletic complex without a key card. It's a public institution. Let me in. Nah, D. It's public on that surface. It's deeply private because you got to have access. You must qualify. You must be given that permission. Journalists out here looking bad. These NARPs. And Paul Finebaum is like King NARP. Now, let me tell you my issue with Paul Finebaum. It's only one issue, and it came out several different ways, including in this Deion story. When Paul Finebaum finds a story, finds an opportunity to kind of magnify his platform because, breaking down college games and, Nick Saban this and Nick Saban gone now. So, Alabama's doing this and all this team is doing that. That gets you to a certain level. And Paul Finebaum is doing great at his job. But that job has a glass ceiling. Duh, right? We get it. Like the SEC guy who has now got a national platform, good for you. But you also see the limitations. They don't ask you about basketball. They don't ask you about other issues, social issues. So whenever you get an opportunity, it comes to you. Deion Sanders, cultural issues, race issues. Oh my God, freedom of expression and speech issues. Oh, Paul doesn't just address it. He tries to undress it. He tries to undress the person. Tried to do it with me one time. I'm not going to really go into the archive because it ain't about me. However, when he did it to me, I laughed it off. I was just like, oh, that's funny. Like, he trying to go there, King Narc. Okay, well, now we back here again, the same thing. Maybe Deion will laugh it off. Maybe Deion will not. Certainly seems like Matt Barnes is not going to laugh it off. I am on the side of Deion Sanders in Colorado. And I'm on their side because I've been in that predicament. I've been in that position before. I have worked with people who, because they didn't like a certain athlete, decided that every time that athlete did something, they would go in on them. Remember this. Remember the days of Skip Bayless, everything Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, no matter what Tom Brady did, right? Here's the problem with that. You can prop up Tom Brady no matter what he does, and most things he does are going to be positive, good, so you can prop him up. But when you have an athlete that no matter what they do, you have a personality, no matter what they do, you're going to always point out the negative, that person has to be punished. That person has to be exiled. Get up out of here. Because all you're doing is bringing negativity to a situation that may be positive. Oh, they win a game. Yeah. They only won by a couple points. Oh, they won another game. Yeah. They ain't playing anybody. They won another game. So what? The conference is weak and nobody cares. They're going to lose them all. Wait a minute. Let that happen. Give me your opinion laced with the facts that they are 3-0, whatever it may be. I've seen it go the other way, and it goes very bad, very fast. So I am on their side, but I will say this, and this is to push back to give balance. If you're Deion Sanders, you could have been above all this story. You didn't even have to address this story, but he wanted to clear the pathway and let the next person know, if you step to me, this is your ending. This is how it's going to be realized. Criticism is the cost of praise. Simple as that. So if you're going to criticize somebody, also know you got to balance it out with some of the praise when warranted. But also, if you're the person like Deion Sanders who is getting criticized, hey man, that's just the tax that we got to pay for all this love and praise we get. So old school Wileyism, criticism is the cost of praise. Easily, Deion could have just kept going like he normally has. Look, Deion, don't forget he threw a bucket of water on that reporter way back in the World Series who was going in on him. So there is a sensitivity to Deion, despite how big he is, how enormous his brand is. He's particular. He got a little Kevin Durant in there, like, hey, bro, So that's not the best thing to have, because if you're Dion, people gonna take shots at you. You're too damn great. So criticism is the cost of praise. Bow. But at the same time, if there is an opportunity for me to control a room, and control a room, I mean keep it real, keep it objective, not keep it positive, just keep it objective. Oh, you just want to go in on me because you just hate me? I've dealt with that. People don't want to hear a word I say just because of some of the stances I've taken, some of the takes I've had. I don't care what Wiley say. He said that against Kaepernick. I don't care what Wiley say. He said this against BLM. And I'll just be like, oh, that's mutual then, because I don't care what you say either then. You know what I mean? Like, do you? I'm going to do me. In this situation, Dion got it done, and he made sure that reporter is no longer there. So beat it up in the comments. Let me know what you think. You with Matt Barnes, you with New Media, you with Old Media, you with Paul Finebaum, you King Narping it. I love the fact that Dan Orlovsky broke it down. Said, come on, man, look, you can disagree with it, but damn, dog, like, those just, the adjective, what you saying, dog? What are you even talking about? Name it that deep. And if it is that deep, you just mad because you can't have access. And that's the crazy thing is, cats are taking their side instead of saying, what is the right thing? What is my side doing? What will benefit me the most? It's one way to go about it. Beat up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think.